between Kilkenny and Offaly. Our commentator on this one, Ger Canning.
It is indeed, and you're very welcome to Croke Park. You join us as the team stand facing the tricolour. Agus Aron Navia. Well, they've rearranged the furniture in the Kilkenny backline. Michael Kavanagh moves back from the wing. Noel Hickey moves in from the corner. And Willie O'Connor returns to the fray. There's a fresh midfield combination today. It's Andy Comerford and Brian McAvoy. On the 40, John Power returns to action. He's got Stephen Grehan on the right, Dennis Byrne on the left. As for the inside line, between them they scored 31 championship goals. Mind you, DJ Carey has got 26 of those. Niall Claffey and Simon Wheelahan are Offaly's cornerbacks for this Leinster final, but the match is underway. And the only change in the Offaly team, as from your newspapers this morning, Kevin Martin is in there at left half-back. Offaly won the toss. They play with a very slight breeze at their backs, and from right to left, as you can see, for the opening 35 minutes, in front of a crowd of around 30,000 people. Coming back to take this one, there's a switch, by the way. Dennis Byrne and Stephen Grehan have switched positions. Here's Joe Dooley, 36 years of age, inside towards Joe Erity. Willie O'Connor coming across here, trying to nurse it away from danger. Michael Duignan comes after. It's a lovely pick-up, beautiful skill. Nice ball out towards Michael Kavanagh. Aware he was about to be hooped. Hand passing it inside towards Andy Comerford. DJ Carey's in there chasing for it. So too is John Power. Backs to the wall. Niall Claffey in the yellow helmet. Under pressure here. Charlie Carter rasps this one and puts it over the bar. It's the opening point. First attack by the Cats. First point as well. Charlie today playing in his 20th championship match. It was a lovely attack. Built up right from the corner from Michael Kavanagh, involving Andy Comerford. And in the end finished off at the business end by Carter. Liam Griffin is here alongside me, former Wexford manager. A wonderful occasion, the Leinster final.
Oh, great occasion, Ger. Some interesting things here. John Power gone into mark, specifically Brian Wheelahan, which is unusual, but that's what's happening.
Yes, it's a case of the great centre-half back being marked by a dogged and determined forward who has lots of experience behind him. Here's Eamon Kavanagh. Kennedy, rather. Willie O'Connor put under pressure over there. Another nice pick-up. He's tripped as he's taking it out, having got that pass back from Eamon Kennedy.
Kilkenny know that they have to stop Brian Wheelahan, really, if they want this. If he dominates the game, Offaly stand a great chance of winning. Hence that move.
Well, 2 years ago, one of the best defenders in the game, of course, and one player of the year. And Brian Wheelahan today playing in his 34th championship match. This is James McGarry. Will he hit one up towards his cousin, DJ Carey? Power on the 40. Pitch a little shorter, a little narrower from the time when they played here in 1980. And of course, Offaly had that famous victory. They've got themselves, Kilkenny, a free in here.
Kilkenny have a lethal full forward and in DJ Carey, Charlie Carter, and then they've Henry Shevlin there as well. So Henry Shevlin's a big man. He's picked specifically, I think, to mark Simon Wheelahan. Unusual to see Kilkenny picking a team to mark Offaly, but that's what they've done, and they're the key people, I think, in Kilkenny full forward now.
Stephen Byrne is poised, Henry Shefflin striking, putting it high up into the air and well over the crossbar. And it's a second point. Good start by the Cats.
Kilkenny's full-back, Noel Hickey, is going to come under a lot of pressure today. It's his first day out. It's his first day playing full-back in the championship, and he's marking Joe Erity, who looks extremely fit and looks very sharp. I think it's going to make a difference.
He's a good one, however. He's come from the under-21 and minor teams, very successful sides. That's Johnny Dooley. And that's a beautiful point. right over the bar by the man who's playing midfield this afternoon from Sir Kieran's. Great score, 2-1. Right from the word go here, it's a case of the match is on. Two sides are going to go for it. The puck out, landing at centre-half forward once again. Kevin Martin back there. There'll be questions about his fitness, of course. He's missed a lot of training. Man down injured is Barry Wheelahan.
It's a big gamble playing Kevin Martin, to be honest, with hamstring injuries, and I know it could make a difference, especially to that half-back line. But however, the Offaly mentors know what they're doing.
So three of the Wheelahans playing in the back line. Simon Barry and Brian Barry down injured. This is what happened as Kevin Martin was playing that ball out there, and there was a little clash. Stephen Graham was the Kilkenny player coming in, and Wheelahan has felt the effects of that. Part of the very strong Burr contingent in the Offaly team. Of course, this was one of the problems that Pat Fleury had as he was building a side when the leagues began. Burr were involved in club championships still, and then when they finished their involvement there, they were given, very wisely I think, a bit of a rest by the management to be as fresh as possible. My goodness, Barry and company looked fresh when they played against Wexford. So after two instantly forgettable semi-finals here at Leinster, let's hope it's a wonderful final. That's a great ball down towards Joe Erity. Joe Dooley's there as well, and it's picked up. Watching the flight path of the ball. John Power coming in, he got first wide. As having played so. A very evenly matched game so far. Henry Shefflin over there challenging Simon Wheelahan. And it's going to be a free downfield. Free to Offaly. Johnny Dooley operating in midfield alongside Johnny Pilkington. And there's Pat Fleury from the 81 and 85 All-Ireland winning teams. Strange to think he was a selector on the under-21 team when he was only 22. Brian Cody here, former great. Standing back, waiting for it, anticipating. This is Brian McAvoy. We know him so well as a number 12 in their team. Usually plays on the wing in the attack. Henry Shefflin, one of the real candidates for Young Player of the Year last year. The hand pass ahead by John Power. Wheelahan tries to get close to him. That's Simon Wheelahan. No such luck. It strikes the post, comes down, and whipped away by Kevin Martin. Out to John Power, the man on the 40, charging through the centre here. Always likes to give a lot of effort in every one of his matches, and that's a great save. Dennis Byrne had the shot. It was a great save by Stephen Byrne. One Byrne denying another, and in the end it is put over the bar by Charlie Carter for his second point of the game.
That's a marvellous save, Gerard, a really marvellous save from close range.
Well, John Power was setting it all up, thundering his way forward. Eventually the ball was released out here, played to Dennis Byrne, and one Byrne denied another with a super piece of goalkeeping. And in the follow-up, Charlie Carter put it over the bar. Played in there by Paddy Mulhare, and Joe Erity unable to contain it. And that's Offaly's first wide. We've had lots of scores, lots of incidents, a very fine piece of goalkeeping already in the match. And there's only, what, about 8.5 minutes gone. Dennis Byrne trying to take it, but instead it's Kevin Martin. Back towards Johnny Pilkington. Joe Dooley, just one quick take up onto his stick, hit it instinctively, not well directed, however. But he's been one of the stars down the years for Offaly hurling, and in senior hurling generally. You think he played in his first All-Ireland final back in Thurles way back in 1984. James McGarry with the puck out. The Offaly half-back line having lots of pressure exerted upon them. They're trying to get it back out here towards Henry Shefflin. Dennis Byrne was calling for it. It runs on towards Brian McAvoy in his more accustomed position, popping up around the left wing. Way over Niall Claffey's head that time. Dennis Byrne once again steadying himself and striking it beautifully between the posts. He's put it over.
That was extremely well read by Dennis Byrne. He read the flight of the ball over the back, picked it up and hit a beautiful point.
Well, of course, for this particular match, as we watch this in reprise once again, we should remind ourselves that Kilkenny have changed things around quite considerably. Is the balance better today, do you think?
Well, I think that unusual for Kilkenny to pick their team to play Offaly. Kilkenny normally used to pick a team and didn't care what anybody else did, but that's what's changed at this time. But yes, they look good.
Here's Gary Hannafy. Out to Brendan Murphy, looking for a second point. 2 shots, 2 points. Great work. Well, he'll be delighted with his start here, and there's a point between the teams. It was the centre-half forward, Gary Hannafy, who played it outside to the left to Brendan Murphy, and a great strike.
Philly Larkin won't be pleased with this now. He's got 2 points, but Philly's been shifted around between the full-back line and the half-back line, and he's back in the half-back line again today, which is a bit unfamiliar for him.
He's played in midfield as well. He's been everywhere. This is up to Henry Shefflin. Quick look up, striking it over his right shoulder, but it touched a back on the way out, and it's gone for the game's first 65. Should have mentioned, I don't think we've mentioned it so far, as the sunshine comes out here in Croke Park. Mind you, we've had showers. The match has been handled by Willie Barrett. Willie from Tipperary. It's an all-Munster team of officials. You just catch a glimpse there of Sean McMahon, the linesman from Clare, and there's also John Sexton from Limerick. Eamon Kennedy striking this one. The goalkeeper was very cool, very calm. He's challenged, however, by Henry Shefflin as he was taking that one out. The goalkeeper's gone down injured, and the referee is in very, very quickly as well to adjudicate on this. Here it was, sent in, and Stephen Byrne did really well. Didn't seem to be an awful lot of contact.
No, it didn't, quite frankly. I mean, it seems a regular run-of-the-mill one, whether he caught him somewhere awkwardly or what. But I don't think there was anything malicious about it myself, no question about that.
Well, the referee has spoken with his umpire. He has taken his number, first phase as it were, towards giving a yellow card. Next time it might possibly happen. And Offaly have brought in their doctor, Dr. Brendan Lee. And this is it once again. He's okay. Great catch. Andy Comerford. Closed down by a number of Offaly players. Johnny Pilkington trying to knock it away. Out comes the fullback. Sweeping it away there from danger was Noel Hickey. Belted forward towards Charlie Carter. Niall Claffey, the cornerback, coming across here. It's Claffey against Charlie Carter this afternoon. In the past it would have been perhaps Simon Wheelahan against Carter. Hannafy misses it completely, gets the second opportunity. And the referee says there was a foul, and it's going to be a free to Offaly, even though there's a Kilkenny player down injured. Peter Barry, I think, is the injured player. He just felt the end of that. And it brings Dr. Bill Cudahy out onto the field for the first time to render attention. Meanwhile,
and Dr. Bill Cudahy, could you say, Gerard, the Cudahys have been fantastic servants of Kilkenny hurling, as a lot of doctors throughout the country, but they've been part of the backbone of this team for years, couple of generations.
His dad was there before him.
Yes.
Brian Wheelahan hitting the free, and Brian Wheelahan has put it wide. That's 3 wides now for Offaly.
Brian Whelan has actually shifted out to right half-back for the moment, and
Barry Whelan, Stephen Grehan, hasn't he?
Barry Whelan has moved to centre half-back, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's Barry now up against John Power. Power had won a couple of decent balls in there. Andy Comerford trying to strike it away, however, in the end by Brendan Murphy. Nicely up here towards DJ Carey. And DJ has put it wide.
It's a pity it was a magnificent pick-up, Gerard. It's a pity he didn't finish it better.
DJ Carey today playing in his 36th championship match, looking for his first point in this game. But he hasn't got a bad aggregate overall. 26 goals, 142 points in championship matches. And I make that 220 points. Try beating that. Johnny Dooley Cross towards his brother Joe, picked up instead by Brendan Murphy. He really has started very sharply. He's got a third point, and Philly Larkin is all over the place. He's been run ragged by this young man, and it's 4 points apiece, and they're level for the second time. It was played across here by Johnny Dooley towards Joe Dooley. Brendan Murphy says, I'll take it instead, and Larkin couldn't get a block in. Kevin Martin trying to get it out. Well, of course, Offaly have suffered defeats here at the hands of Kilkenny in the last two Leinster finals. OK, there was that great All-Ireland success 2 years ago as well. But they don't want to lose 3 in a row. That's away there by Peter Barry for Kilkenny. Up towards Henry Shefflin. Brian Wheelahan's across there. Little block on it, but he still manages to get it forward towards Paddy Mulher. Taken instead there by Brian McAvoy. Out comes Kevin Kinahan, one of the great full-backs of the 90s. Barry Wheelahan trying to get the ball away under a lot of pressure. The hand pass inside towards DJ Carey from John Power. Taking on Simon Wheelahan. Unable to get a strike on it, however. Closed down, and in the end it's Brian Wheelahan who rips it away out of danger, way downfield towards Brendan Murphy. Here's Philly Larkin, a big run saying to himself at this stage, enough is enough. Joe Dooley, great vision, back to Michael Dyke. Here's the score. And he's got it just inside the left-hand post.
That's a magnificent point, and great presence of mind by Joe Dooley. Tipped it back out again to Michael Dyke. A superb point.
So Offaly lead in this match for the very first time, thanks to Michael Dignan and the presence of mind of Joe Dooley. James McGarry pucking it out, this time going left, and it's taken superbly by Stephen Graham on towards John Power, trying to feed it ahead here, and the referee won't allow the advantage come to Dennis Byrne.
There was a heavy tackle definitely that time on John Power, there's no question about it. He's taken a heavy blow to the middle at that stage coming through.
This was Power going through, and Kevin Martin was coming out. It was a very high challenge, and he's got himself a yellow card.
And that's fair. I mean, certainly he deserves a yellow card for that particular tackle.
Well, John Power is one of those players, he never complains, but that was a very hefty challenge, and it wasn't a fair tackle.
No, and I mean, there's no question that John Power has been picked to have a good physical presence on Brian Wheelahan. Well, certainly there's no question that'll take some of the physical presence out of him. So, you know, a heavy tackle.
Well, he's still receiving attention. Just to go back here to the other members of that half-back line, of which Kevin Martin is a member, it seems that when the free has been taken, Brian goes to the right, perhaps takes it, Barry funnels in, as it were, to the centre, and then they reverse roles again. It's a free in. Henry Shefflin's about to take it. 1 point from a free so far. This is fairly simple. He's put it over the bar. So, the teams are level yet again.
Jerry, you have to say as well, Offaly look a lot sharper this year than they have looked, you know, in the early part of the championship for the last few years. They look that much fitter, a little bit hungrier. You know, there's no question that Pat Fleury's influence has made a big difference on this team for this year.
Stephen Byrne about to puck it out. Very little breeze around, really. A lot of pressure in there. Taken up here and taken well. Away by Edmund Kennedy. Towards Dennis Byrne. Up towards Henry Shefflin. Shefflin ready to take on Simon Wheelahan. The two Wheelahans go to him. And he struck it, but he struck it to the right. Useful chance, but he was under a fair bit of pressure.
Yeah, interestingly about that challenge, about that partnership, is that they have put Henry Shefflin into Mark Simon Wheelahan, obviously to try and take advantage of height over Simon, who's a shorter player, obviously.
We haven't got the exact attendance, around about 30-something thousand, I would think. And Joe Dooley's gone down, along with his marker over there, who is Michael Kavanagh. And the referee has the notebook out. And I think numbers have been noted. Michael Kavanagh's number going into the referee's book.
Peter Barry has been shifted over with Philly Larkin, I think, at this stage, to close down Brendan Murphy.
Johnny Dooley striking. Johnny Dooley putting it over the bar. That's a second point for Johnny Dooley. He's Offaly's team captain. Huge Offaly support. And you think back to 1980, only 9,000 plus a couple of hundred turned up to see them. Nobody gave them a chance against one of the great traditionalists in this sport. How things have changed in 20 years. Here's John Power. They want an All-Ireland this year, but they first of all want to hold on to their Leinster title. That's back to Brian McAvoy, and that's gone sailing high and sailing over the bar.
John Power made that point, and you have to admire the man. He's such a tough piece of stuff. That's why he was picked, to be able to do that and play that ball around.
Well, it's amazing they're able to bring back players like John Power, Willie O'Connor, and they make a marked contribution, as always. They're enjoying it, I think. McAvoy going up for it there. Johnny Dooley's there as well, trying to get it away from Billy Larkin. Has now gone, as we said earlier, to left half back. Kicked away into space towards Dennis Byrne. Comes off an Offaly leg. Simon Wheelahan back there, shouldering Henry Shefflin, getting the ball outside. Wheelahan again, whipping it away downfield towards Joe Dooley. Kavanagh's there as well for Kilkenny. Dooley pressurising. Lots of pressure. Peter Barry's there for Kilkenny. Here's Eamon Kennedy. Relative newcomer to championship fare. Challenged the whole time by Gary Hannafy. Right on the sideline here. Charlie Carter driving it in. It's away by Brian Wheelahan. Back at centre half back. Touchdown towards Gary Hannafy. 45 metres out from the Kilkenny goal, and it's gone over the bar. It's a great score by Gary Hannafy from Birr in Offaly. And he's made it 7-6. Well, in case you were sleeping during the football match before this, wake up. This is blistering stuff.
Already you can see there's a lot less tension than last Sunday.
Yeah, last Sunday was 100 miles an hour at this stage of the game. These players have settled down, played some nice hurling, contributed some very good scores. Two evenly matched teams so far. Offaly have the incentive. Kilkenny likewise, of course. Brian McAvoy. Right out on the left-hand side, he drops it in. Byrne comes out for it, whips it away. And it's another 65. I mention incentive because Offaly, as we know in hurling and football, are the most difficult side to beat. And having been beaten 2 years running, the last thing they wanted was 3 in a row defeats in the Leinster final. As McAvoy drove this one in, and it was touched out over the end line. So Eamon Kennedy coming up to take this one. Played a marvellous game in the semi-final 3 weeks ago. Brian Wheelahan, that's a wonderful catch. Under pressure, facing his own goal line, driving it back out, but Brian McAvoy's in under it. And he's fouled, and it's a free once again.
That was a magnificent catch by Brian Wheelahan. You have to say that he has to be one of the finest hurlers that we've ever seen in the last 30, 40 years. He could hold his own anybody. A magnificent catch by Brian when it landed in the square that time.
I hate to remind the All-Star selectors of some years ago when he got Hurler of the Year and failed to make the All-Star team. It happens. Here's Henry Shefflin. Kilkenny's free taker, belting it high in between the posts and over the bar. 3 points for Shefflin. 7-7. Level for the 5th time in this match. Certainly the crowd getting its money's worth. About 11 minutes to the break. Gary Hannafy trying to take this puck out. He does really well, getting there ahead of Kennedy. Inside towards Joe Dooley against Kavanagh. Dooley's the taller man. Slightly off angle. They try to keep it in play. Hannafy did his best, got to stick to it, but they decided that it was in fact out over the end line. Indeed, I think it was Mulhare who got there first. Joe Dooley. It wasn't an easy shot by any manner of means, but he just failed to make it. Broken down by Johnny Dooley. But Dooley's the Wheelahans. What wonderful service they have given over there. That's a great block there against DJ Carey. Great block down. Kevin Martin, aware he was going to be hooked by Charlie Carter. And Carter sticking to his task well. showing he's not just a great forward, but prepared to do a bit of defending as well. And also some wonderful defending with Andy Comerford in the thick of the action. And in the end, it seemed to come off Niall Claffey. Sean McMahon, the linesman from Clare, was right up alongside the action. It's a line ball to the Cats. Andy Comerford to take this one. Now in the past he's been able to knock these one over the bar. This time he's hit it left.
Jared, there's a situation in Croke Park today. The pitch is supposed to be smaller than in the past. It's 10 metres shorter than Thurles, and it certainly is having an effect on inside forward lines getting room.
Down towards Hannafy once again. This time it's Philly Larkin trying to steady himself and get into the game a bit more. And it's a free for taking too many steps.
Well, Philly Larkin is having a hard time at the moment. The game is not going well for him.
Well, Philly Larkin, of course, comes from a very, very proud family. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, you can make a case. He was under a lot of pressure. Johnny Dooley, 2 points so far, well within his range. He makes it look deadly simple. We've got a fascinating Guinness Leinster hurling final here. It's 8-7 in favour of Offaly. 9 minutes to the break. Two sides who are giving it absolutely everything, as you expect from sides coached by Brian Cody and also, of course, Pat Fleury. That hop there off John Power into the inside line. Kevin Martin under pressure from DJ Carey. Andy Comerford racing across for it. Also there was Brendan Murphy for Offaly. Comes back in the end to Peter Barry. And Barry's shot is off the post. Back down to Kevin Keenahan. It struck that post a couple of times. Here's Brian McAvoy. Great contest. Wonderful athleticism. Here he comes again. He's got a chance. They're all after him. And in the end, he fouls the ball, I think. And it's got to be a free out. Well, it's a shame because he did so much. Here he was coming through, but he handled it more than twice. What did you make of it?
I actually didn't think he'd handle it more than twice. Maybe he handled it quicker when he picked it up at the start. I may have missed it.
Well, I think that's exactly what happened. I think he did handle it 3 times. That's Paddy Mulhare. Slitter goes flying. And the flying Andy Comerford comes after the loose ball. While he was being pursued there by the tall man, Gary Hannafy, the centre-half forward. A little push, I think, and Andy has won Kilkenny a free ball.
Offaly are certainly very keen on this. When that ball was cleared the last time off that free, Brian Whelan was giving some of his own men taps on the backside with the stick. They're really out for this one, there's no question about it. Back doors, side doors, this is the Leinster final. Both teams want to win.
Well, we were saying that last Sunday down in Thurles, and that's exactly the case again this afternoon. An exhilarating contest. That's up towards John Power, but Brian Whelan is there inevitably as well. Kevin Martin coming in to help. They try to get it away somehow. And here comes DJ Carey. DJ flying. Oh, what a goal by DJ Carey. It's goal number 27 in his championship career. And it's come after 28 minutes of play.
They don't come any better than this, Gerard. This man is a magnificent hurler. Right in the corner. Nobody would save that.
He just took off like a greyhound out of the traps in Shelbourne Park, but he finished with the style of a master. Back in midfield, Offaly stung. Johnny Dooley trying to get it down towards Joe Erity. We haven't seen much of Joe Erity, like very, very little. Shoulders coming in, but a good clearance by the fullback, who is Noel Hickey. Away to midfield. Back in by Johnny Dooley once again. Gary Hannafy trying to get it forward. Eamon Kennedy trying to get it out for Kilkenny. That's in by Brendan Murphy. Stopped by McGarry. James McGarry with the clearance towards the wings. Kennedy having a bit of work to do here. Pressurised. Putting in the pressure was Brendan Murphy, who's been impressive in this first half. That's back there once again to Johnny Dooley, the Offaly captain. In over the head of Willie O'Connor. McGarry is waiting. In the end, there's a bit of holding, and it's going to be a free out for Kilkenny.
Could we
Offaly stung.
we just say, take an opportunity to say this. I think people should realise when watching DJ Carey, they're watching one of the greatest players that ever has played this game. Christy Ring was great, there's no question, one of the greats, but this man is of his era. He's the Christy Ring of our era, there's no question.
You think of the thousands he puts onto the gate Sunday after Sunday when he plays, whether it's with Young Ireland's or with Kilkenny, in a Leinster, in a club match. He's the Pied Piper in a way. That's a great take. They're going forward once again with Stephen Graham here, and that's another mighty score. It's Stephen Graham from Fenian's first point of the game, but suddenly Kilkenny have taken a bit of a command and lead by a goal. But it's anybody's match still. Graham soloing forward here, but knew exactly what he had to do, which was score a point. He's a very promising young player. We've seen him in the league this year. I've been very impressed with him. And he had a very good second half against the Dubs. Pressure once again there on the Kilkenny backs. That's Noel Hickey having the presence of mind to try and pick out the man over in the corner there for the moment, Billy Larkin. Next it's Brian McAvoy. Up towards Henry Shefflin. Challenged there by Simon Wheelahan. Dennis Byrne going back, making space, delivering that ball in. That going for the score himself, but not quite making it. It was close. Dennis Byrne today playing in his 15th championship match. Scored a point already in the game, but unable to add to his tally in championship hurling of 3 goals and 7 points. So inside the last 5 minutes of the first half. Great take again. Brian McAvoy. It was interesting that they placed him there in midfield. Up towards Henry Shefflin. He had a great season last year. That's a huge one. That's high. And that's so accurate as well. If you just look at that, that's exactly Kilkenny's game plan there. Henry Shefflin is picked to mark Simon Wheelhen because he's a height advantage. He catches the ball over his head and over the bar. That's down to height advantage, and that's it. And it's a good tactics by Kilkenny. Well, they have been the masters down the years. Stephen Byrne tucking it away down towards Gary Hannafy. He's won a few balls there, but Kennedy this time settling to his task. Is fouled, having taken it. Fouled by Hannafy, and a free to Kilkenny. Willie Barrett's in very quickly. One of the best in the business, Willie Barrett, in explaining his reasoning for giving that particular decision. Always good to see a referee stepping in very smartly indeed before anything can possibly develop. McAvoy driving it in there. Taken by John Power. And Power goes for another goal, but this time stopped by Stephen Byrne. And that's away to safety. And I've noticed that Kilkenny seem to be preparing one of their substitutes. We'll just have to see whether in fact Aidan Cummins will get the chance to come into the fray. Johnny Pilkington. There's a lot left in Offaly. That's back towards Paddy Mulhare. Body's put it wide. He was under pressure. That's 5 wides now for Offaly during the opening 33 minutes of this game. This was the effort by Brian McAvoy, dropped in there just moments ago. Opportunities presenting themselves for John Power in particular, but Byrne is cool and very commanding. Johnny Pilkington has moved to right half forward. In fact, Paddy Mulhare has gone to midfield at this stage. I think there is a feeling that in the last 10 minutes they've lost the plot. That's a very heavy tackle by John Power. To be fair, he put his leg in there. He's going to have his name taken for this for sure. The foul was on Simon Wheelahan. John Power going to the referee, I think, to explain something that went on a little while ago. Whether he was exacting vengeance or not, I'm not too sure, but he's got himself a yellow card from Willie Barrett. So 2 yellow cards in the match, Power and Martin. Standing back there is Michael Kavanagh. Plays at quarterback with his club. Outside towards Brian McAvoy. Beautifully held momentarily, that was, by Barry Wheelahan, but he's lost it. And in the end there was some holding, and in the end the referee has to move in quickly and smartly once again and award a free to Kilkenny. Again, there's no question John Power, when he gets in at half time, he'll be glad of a rest. He's taken plenty of hardship. Well, that's the type of player he is, I suppose. He gives it his very best time and again, and almost bulldozes his way through, and is prepared to take those knocks. Henry Shefflin with the free. And this time he can't quite measure it as well as he would like. That's 6 wides for Kilkenny, but they do have an advantage. And John Power has been brought back into the side to limit the effectiveness of Brian Wheelahan, taking a bit of punishment, okay, but he's prepared to do so. He's never complained. Kilkenny with 23 scoring chances so far in the game, taking 10. Offaly with 14 scoring chances, taking 8. Here's another one for them. This is scoring chance number 15, and they've missed it by Johnny Dooley.
Yeah, the full forward line for Offaly has not been getting the ball played in there. You know, the game seems to be bypassing that line for Offaly at this stage.
They're changing things around time and again. I've noticed that Michael Dignan is now out at right half forward. That's going to switch with Paddy Mulhare. Dennis Byrne slipping that ball in towards DJ Carey. Got that marvellous goal. Claffey, lovely pick-up. Taking himself away from the would-be tackles, down towards Gary Hannafy. Kennedy's there as well for Kilkenny, so too Philly Larkin, gaining in confidence. McAvoy, challenged by Johnny Dooley. Slipping it back in here towards Philly Larkin, moving away from the challenge. Kevin Keenahan's in there against 2 Kilkenny players. One of them is Charlie Carter. Here comes Charlie. He's looking for a score here late in the first half, and Charlie Carter has put it over the bar. It's his 3rd point of the first half, and Kilkenny lead by 110 to 8 points. 3 shots on the target by Charlie, and this is where Charlie got his 3rd point of a first half dominated by Kilkenny.
And to be fair, we should recognise that poor Philly Larkin has been having a hard time as a major contributor in that. He battled for 2 or 3 times in that wing, playing himself back into the game a bit at this stage.
Here he comes again, taking it down well, and the referee's whistle goes. End of the first half. Guinness Leinster Hurling final. Offaly and Kilkenny were more or less going level pegging for 20 minutes, but then 28 minutes into the game, DJ Carey scores one of the goals of the season. An absolute blistering shot. This is where John Power was whipping it. They were all whipping it, but the man who was whipping into action was DJ Carey. He's a genius.
A
That's
goal
why.
for any season, Gerard.
Absolutely. And at Croke Park here, at half-time, the scoreline reads Kilkenny 110, Offaly 8
The
points.
second half now at this stage.
Yeah, we do look forward to the second half, and that second half is coming up after this commercial break again, so please do stay with us.
In score 110 for Kilkenny, 8 points for Offaly. We've just played 30 seconds of the half in front of a crowd of 32,800 people. And that's a line ball, which will be to Offaly. Offaly made a change, by the way. They've withdrawn Michael Dignan for the start of this second half, and Aidan Hanrahan from Lusma with the red helmet there is at top of the right. Broken down here by Eamon Kennedy. Dropped in there by Johnny Pilkington. Joe Erity trying to pick the ball up, but the fullback Noel Hickey's out there first time. This is towards Brian McAvoy, had an excellent first half. Johnny Dooley sweeping it in, but he's put it inches to the right. It's the first wide of the second half and the 7th in all for Offaly. It was a chance, and they need to take these opportunities now. They're 5 points adrift. James McGarry pucking this one. Once again aiming it towards the man on the 40, John Power. Hurley's flying, Paddy Mulhare's in there, and the referee says there was a dangerous pull, and he's calling aside the number 10 Mulhare from St. Rina's in Banagher.
Yeah, he caught John Power on the leg that time, no question about that.
It's a yellow card. Power throws himself into the thick of the action, and when it gets tight, he's prepared to soak up that punishment in the interest of Kilkenny. Right now he's won Kilkenny a free. Shefflin taking it, and he's put it straight over. 5 points for Henry Shefflin.
I can imagine John Power soaking in a hot bath after all this. He's taken a lot of punishment out there.
The lead is now up to 6 points. bounces off Brian McAvoy, comes towards Johnny Pilkington. They need to get him more into the match. Kevin Keenan lets it drop over his head. Claffey comes across there. Charlie Carter trying to get it back towards John Power. Looking for latitude. Brian Wheelahan's against him. Comes off the stick of Kinahan. It's gone out over the end line, and it's a 65. Third 65 then.
You have to give John Power his due as well. To be fair, Brian Wheelahan, I'm not suggesting for a moment he's playing badly, but he's not dominating this game. And if Offaly are going to win it, I really do believe that Brian Wheelahan is going to have to dominate it more. So John Power has done an extremely good job for Kilkenny. The selectors who picked him there, I suppose if all Ireland's are rewarded of the quality and experience of men at the bench, where Kilkenny would get it in a loose canter.
Shefflin's about to take it. I suppose if Power is dominating, might be a time to make a change. He's put it over. Another fine point from the 65, and it's 1-12 for Kilkenny, 8 points for Offaly. But that is an intriguing clash which the crowd here are enjoying, that battle of Brian Wheelahan against John Power. Wheelahan is still marking him, but Power has done his job to perfection. Johnny Dooley against Brian McAvoy. Two exciting hurlers. Inside towards Gary Hannafy. Swept away there by Willie O'Connor. Out towards McAvoy. What a lovely step away from trouble. Nice ball way downfield. Charlie Carter's in after it. Breaks out towards Kevin Keenan. Challenged there by DJ Carey. Only had 2 shots in the first half and probably scored one of the goals of the season, if not the goal. John Power, and passing it back once again. Charlie Carter, support available there. Dennis Byrne. Byrne striking it off his left-hand side, but he's put it badly wide. He scored 1 point so far in the match. Player who's altered in his career between midfield and the half-forward line. 1 point from 4 shots for Dennis Byrne. That's his tally so far for the day. Here's Johnny Dooley. Runs into a great block down by Brian McAvoy. I think he's been the star so far. Stephen Graham. Away there well by Gary Hannafy. Philly Larkin gaining his confidence. Kennedy striking it down into the corner. DJ chasing after it. Simon Wheelahan, aware of the possibilities, went back as well. It's blocked down. Charlie Carter advances. It's still Carter. Awkward angle, trying to get it across. Shefflin hits a great save. Comes out here to Kevin Martin. Great piece of skill. The keeper did really well. Kilkenny were plotting another advance on the Offaly goal, and at the other end there's a counter-attack involving the substitute Aidan Hanrahan, and it ends up in the net, and Joe Dooley's got it. What an amazing sequence. 6 minutes into the second half, Joe Dooley makes it 1-12 to 1-8, and Offaly are right back into it again, playing in his 47th championship match. The Kilkenny defence was somewhat stagnant as Hanrahan struck it in. Should have been cleared out. There were 2 men there to take it, and Joe Dooley says, thanks a lot. But at the other end, here come Kilkenny. Shefflin powering his way through. Stopped. Brian Wheelahan's there. Centre half back. Fouled. 3 out.
Actually, the game needed that goal, and full marks to Joe Dooley. He's a great old war horse and a great predator as well at the end of the square.
Offaly hadn't scored, since the 27th minute of the first half, but they have now. 6 minutes into the second.
He makes it look so simple.
John Troy is on. He's wearing number 21, which in the programme was the number that was given to Kevin Martin, and the player gone off is Joe Erity. You got to pity Joe Erity because he got so few opportunities. Ball never came his way. But Troy is in. Johnny Dooley has it. Brian McAvoy having a great clash with him. It's in once again towards Joe Dooley. Can he get another one? Oh, right across the face of goal. But the referee, I think, has seen a foul, and it's going to be a free from the 20-metre line. There's a free in for Offaly. So Offaly can get something out of this.
Actually, if you think about it, that's done a lot of good for Noel Hickey, the taking off of Joe Erity. But to do an awful lot for his confidence. He's only 20 years of age and a very promising full-back. But to be fair, as you said, Joe Erity hasn't been given enough of opportunities.
Free, which Johnny Dooley will take. What a great sport this is. What a great championship. Oh, he's gone for the goal rather than the point. Surely he was going to go for a point, and it's taken off the line by Philly Larkin. Oh, what a sequence we've had at the start of the second half. But really, I thought Johnny Dooley would have simply popped it over the bar from 20 metres. Whether he mishit it or not, only he can tell us. But then he scored goals in the past when we least expected it from the 20-metre line. Belted away downfield, caught beautifully by Niall Claffey. He's left it behind. He was fouled, however. Shefflin goes forward. Charlie Carter shows us that he should have been in Euro 2000. But alas, Charlie, forget about it. It was for a chop-down foul, and it's a free out to Offaly. Kilkenny are still celebrating, but it was disallowed, chopped down. There you had it. Charlie went on, cool as you like, into the corner. It could be played with Kilkenny City next year.
I don't know if Charlie...
At the other end, well, he seemed to go for it.
Great save by Philly Larkin.
Absolutely. Well, it's a match, I think, which everybody here in the 32,000 attendance is enjoying, live in Croke Park. Hope you're enjoying it, watching it on the television as well. Kevin Martin, he's put it to the left. Groans from the Offaly fans, cheer from the Kilkenny following. And Brian Cody pacing up and down the sideline over there. 2 All-Ireland losses in recent years for the Cats. He really wants to bring them the big one this year in September. And of course we will have the quarter-final championship draw after this match here tonight. Johnny Dooley, Brian McAvoy, they want to get the easy way into the next phase of the championship, into the semi-finals by winning Leinster. Offaly under pressure, Stephen Byrne getting a ball out, Dennis Byrne driving it back in, Kenyan's back there. Good positioning by the tall, lanky full-back. Barry Wheelham breaking it down to Kevin Martin, both of them the wing-backs. John Parr chasing after it. It's one of those matches where the crowd are involved, cheering on their teams, cheering every action. Tackles, clearances, wonderful striking, great hurling. Up it comes again towards Brendan Murphy, tearing away, scored 3 points in the first half. This time he is knocked down, but this time the play continues, and it goes towards Gary Hannafy. It's blocked down there. Back to Gary Hannafy once again. The big man coming in on the 14, he strikes it over the bar. 2 points for Gary Hannafy. Some
magnificent hurling going on at the moment. It's a great ad for these two teams, not necessarily for Leinster hurling, but for these two teams.
3 points between the sides. All that thanks to Gary Hannafy's second point. You feel like they deserve a timeout, but then you don't want them to have it. You want them to just keep going at this fantastic rate. Wonderfully fit players, wonderfully talented hurlers, and Charlie Carter is nipping in, and Charlie has put it into the back of the net.
Superb goal again.
What a response, 11 minutes into the second half. Charlie with a goal and 3 points. And Charlie Carter got a goal and 3 points last year as well. DJ was there, but Charlie was backing up, taking plenty of steps, mind you. I think he's put it in the net. This ball comes out here towards Paddy Mulhare. So Offaly have to do it once again. Inside towards Joe Dooley. Well, what a goal that was by Charlie Carter. Coming in here, very acute angle, and somehow he managed to get it past Stephen Byrne.
And you know, you've got to think about these eye-hand coordination. A little piece of space, put the ball in between the post and a man. These players who can do these things are fantastic.
We should remember, of course, that DJ and Charlie play in the same club team in Kilkenny, so they have a wonderful telepathic understanding. Brian McAvoy sending it high, inside towards the aforementioned DJ, couldn't get a stick in it.
You wonder sometimes about Kilkenny that they don't play in more low ball when they get opportunities on the outside.
That's Fleury here, marching up and down, but he's brought a great deal of confidence to the Offaly hurlers, and he's given them steel and determination as well. Kennedy trying to get that ball away from danger. Hannafy hand-passing it. Picked up here by Simon Wheelahan. He's meant to be the right corner back. Chased after there by Philly Larkin. Little bit of a pile-up, and the referee, I think, is going to throw the ball in. But a good burst forward there by Simon Wheelahan. All of them sons of the great Padjo, of course, who you could be absolutely certain is sitting in the stand here somewhere.
Simon has changed places, actually, at the moment with Kevin Martin. I mean, Kevin Martin can't be totally match fit, having been out with a hamstring injury.
It's back here with Johnny Pilkington. The hand pass to Simon Wheelahan, now operating in the half-back line. Blocked down by John Power. Wonderful work by Power. Just courageously and selflessly throwing himself into the tackle time after time.
You have to give him credit because he's tackled everybody. Anybody who's in the vicinity gets tackled by John Power. He really is putting his heart and soul into this game, and he's making a major contribution to Kilkenny's
he knows
attack.
no fear. Andy Comerford, Johnny Pilkington waiting to receive that ball from Willie Barrett. Still over 20 minutes left. Loads of time. Offaly with a lot to do, however. Philly Larkin. They still get it forward. Still he thunders ahead. Outside to DJ Carey. Has come way out to the wings to get a bit of the action. He's got support inside. Charlie Carter was his intended recipient of the pass. He gets it out towards John Power. Power looking up at the target, and he belts it over the bar. He's delighted. He deserves his point.
It's a wonderful score. It's a wonderful score played around by DJ, Charlie Carter and John Power.
Here they were, all combining and having the presence of mind to pick out the loose man waiting there 30 metres out. Power gets the point.
That's the difference with Kilkenny hurling.
McAvoy breaks it down with his hand. Hannafy. He's pursued over there by Peter Barry. Peter, former under-21 captain, very successful captain. Once again, it's the fullback, Noel Hickey. He'll be very pleased with his match here this afternoon. It's kicked out there by Stephen Graham. John Parr. Everybody after him. And still he feeds it inside towards Stephen Graham. This time to Dennis Byrne. That is absolutely brilliant.
And that's John Power's point again, there is no question. He got out to the middle of the field to win that.
That is brilliant.
Wonderful finish, of course.
He went out here near our commentary position, worked his socks off, played it inside, the return ball given out there to Dennis Byrne, whose striking was super. One of the points of the match. Podium O'Hare. Well, they've played well up to a point here, Offaly. Now they need scores to stay in this game. Aidan Hanrahan. Blocked down by Willie O'Connor. Spoons up towards Kennedy. Back to Hanrahan. And he's put it wide.
You have to give Willie O'Connor credit as well. Willie O'Connor's first game since the All-Ireland final is today. And he's seen off Michael Duignan, a very fine hurler. I wonder if he was injured or whatever. And now he's down to his second man. He's doing superbly well. And full marks to Philly Larkin, who's played himself right back into the game as well. Not surprising, his grandfather and his own father won All-Ireland medals. So he obviously has the steel, and he's fought back like a man.
10 wide so far for Offaly in the game. Did Philly Larkin's father and grandfather between them have 9 All-Ireland medals. Philly's looking for his first at senior level. So too is Eamon Kennedy. Will this be their year? DJ trying to take it down, stopped by Kevin Keenahan. A couple of players coming to try and block him. Brian Wheelahan here. Any chance they might move him into the forwards as they've done in the past? Gary Hannafy.
I doubt it.
Hanrahan lets it run on. Back there's Michael Kavanagh. Taking it nice and steadily. Driven back in the general direction of Stephen Graham. Andy Comerford waiting, anticipating, didn't come his way. Here's John Parr. What a game he's played. Just takes off. Great vision. Stephen Graham. That's over the bar.
John Parr's point again. I mean, he really is playing superbly.
He's giving an exhibition. No wonder they have the prudence to recall him. Perhaps they're grateful that they have the prudence to recall him. Here comes Parr. Once again, he's the provider. He takes 2 men with him every time he gets the ball. Inevitably, there's a gap, and they were able to profit. Driven back down by Peter Barry. Henry Shefflin. Well, now it's up to Offaly to give us a big finish, but they've a lot to do. They're trailing by a goal and 6 points. They can still do it. Wheelahan, look who's chasing after him. Look who's fighting back. Look who's won it, John Power. And Wheelahan is still on the fat of his pants. saying, how in the heck did he get there?
John Power's not a young man.
Andy Comerford has put it over.
Power's point again, yes or no? He's all the way back into the other half back line. I mean, this is a tremendous gutsy performance.
Well, it was a little bit before this that all the real hard grind was done by John Power. We keep on mentioning his name, but we have to. He simply is having a magnificent game. Barry Wheelahan and Brian Wheelahan, by the way, have switched positions in the last couple of minutes. Brian Wheelahan's gone to wing back on Stephen Graham.
And that's an actual compliment to, you know, it's obvious that they see that John Power is dominating this game, and you'd wonder why they didn't do it a lot earlier, you know, because it may have helped. At least there was a try.
Here's Stephen Graham. Oh, this is exhibition stuff.
Yeah, as you see, since Brian Wheelahan has gone out of the game, Offaly are certainly going very flat, and Kilkenny are definitely dominating. And you can see in their body language, Offaly are not happy. They need a goal at this stage to bring this game back to life again.
Heavens above, but for the fact that they got that Joe Dooley goal, we really would have an absolute complete mismatch in the second half, it has to be said, although it started in a welter of excitement. Johnny Pilkington was trying to kick that half-heartedly away to a colleague. Kilkenny have just settled down, played their game, utterly dominant, as Keenahan takes this one under a lot of pressure at full-back. But in vital areas of the field, Kilkenny are in charge. And as I say that, Joe Dooley hand passes it to Troy. The game needs a score, but he can't get that opportunity to get the ball into the space, and Noel Hickey clears it away for Kilkenny. Dennis Byrne was trying to take it.
It's days like this makes the likes of Noel Hickey. He's having a great game, and you know, it gives him a chance to get his confidence. And I can tell you that anybody else left in the championship, Kilkenny have got a fine mix of a team, a fine blend of physical players and light players, and they're going to take a lot of stopping still. Kilkenny are not out of this championship by a long chase.
David Franks has just come on, and Brian Wheelahan has gone up to full forward. Paddy Mulher is off.
Well, this is a throw of the dice, isn't it, obviously?
Well, you'd do it, wouldn't you? You had to. There's the change. Franks did well in the semi-final. Came on for Kevin Martin that day. This time it's broken down to Gary Hannafy. And he manages to take the point. Keep them just about in touch. Now they've got to hope that in 15 minutes they can turn this game around. It came from the sideline ball, Simon Wheelahan knocking it in there. They rose up for it. It was touchdown to Gary Hannafy, and that was enough.
This is another chance for young Noel Hickey. He's one of the great players of our time now, and if he can hold him, we'll have a new full-back in Kilkenny for sure.
How many players has he marked this afternoon? Power takes it again. There's no way of stopping him. Unable to finish with a strike because there were 3 men after him. He's going through like a steamroller. Johnny Dooley up towards Brian Wheelahan against Noel Hickey. He's won this one. He's fouled. It's a free in. If he can create chances, if he can cause consternation for Noel Hickey, then Offaly have a chance of getting some late scores.
I think
Brian will it be enough?
He'll be anxious to make a contribution. Brian Wheelahan does not like to die soft, as you saw in the Ireland final of '98. He's going to want to make a contribution at full forward if he can get the right supply, because certainly the fact that he hasn't performed has Offaly in this state, and it's not fair to just blame him on his own, but he is the spiritual leader of this team.
Johnny Dooley taps it over.
No, it's not allowed, Ger.
Or has it?
No, I think he's making him take it again, because the substitute is about to come on.
Going to have to be taken again. Kilkenny are about to make some late changes. John Powers on his hands and his knees, but what a contribution as Bill Cuddy goes in there. I mean, he shifts so much punishment, you know.
Well, at this stage, I mean, a rehabilitation unit for a few days won't be out of the question. But I tell you, the Offaly guys remarked him will need one as well.
Kilkenny are trying to make some changes, so too are Offaly. Aidan Cummins.
John Powers actually going off. He can be happy with himself going off today.
Just listen to the round of applause.
He's been absolutely magical.
Everybody rising to him.
One of his finest games.
Brilliant display of a wonderful player. John Hoyne is on as well. Aidan Cummins on. Late changes by Kilkenny as we watch the reprise of this just a moment ago.
He actually crashed into his own man, and I'm not surprised because he's crashing into everybody else's. He might as well take on a few of his own the way he's going today.
4 points for Johnny Dooley.
Charlie Carter, I think he bumped off of him.
So Charlie is the man who put John out of action. That's one for the books.
Took a Kilkenny man to put him out of the game today.
James McGarry pucking this one right down the centre. Picked up by Dennis Byrne. Little jinking run forward. Loads of pressure. Inside towards Shefflin. On for DJ. Stopped by Kinahan. Clappy's there as well. Kinahan takes over the responsibility. Under enormous pressure. And dropping it away from danger. But only as far as that man Carter. He's put it over the bar.
And you know, when you watch Kilkenny, that's the essence of Kilkenny's game. The ball comes out, snatch, bang, straight over the bar. You know, there's no fiddling about, no missing. Great point.
5 shots at the target, 5 scores by Charlie Carter, a goal and 4. Andy Comerford's gone off, by the way. He's one of those players to be substituted. Johnny Dooley into Brian Wheelahan. There's still over 11 minutes to play. In the past, there have been some fascinating ties between these two counties. Noel Hickey is having his number recorded.
We need to get a goal here, I imagine. I can't see any other way out of this.
Well, Kilkenny will be well aware that it's likely that Johnny Dooley will go for it. He went for it a little while ago when there was a point for the taking at a stage when they were very much in touch. McGarry and the rest are poised. And it's topped over the crossbar, off the goalkeeper's stick, but the credit will go to Johnny Dooley. It's
a surprising shot, to be quite honest. You would have thought he'd had a really good lash at that and hoped that it might come back on the ground to some of the incoming forwards.
So he's got 5 points in the match so far. McGarry in no particular hurry, looking to pick up another Leinster medal this afternoon. Slipped away here towards Niall Clappy. Great pace. Hand passing it outside here to the substitute. Came on just after half-time. Oh, it's a miss, however, by Aidan Hanrahan.
That's inexperience, and that's not very clever from Aidan Hanrahan. He'll be disappointed with himself, but he's only a young man coming in there. Obviously, you've got John Troy, and you've got Joe Dooley, and you've got the great Brian Whelan in full forward. You need to keep the ball into them if they're going to get anything, to do anything for you.
Kevin Martin seems to have moved in towards the centre there, where he is picking up John Hoyne. Johnny Pilkington. How they could use a score from him. Out here towards Aidan Hanrahan. Getting nothing lightly. This is Eamon Kennedy. Trying to spoon it outside there to the man on the wing. Just getting enough on it to get it out as far as Aidan Cummins. Kinahan, pressurised by DJ Carey, who by his own standards has had a quite enough match, but my goodness, he still scored a most brilliant goal in the first half. Charlie Carter lets fly, and he's put it left.
I think we should recognise that Eamon Kennedy has had a very fine game at centre half-back. You know, he's settled down, he's had a few dodgy moments, but overall he's made a fine contribution.
Well, here comes Charlie. He's had a great day as well. That's the first one he's missed in the match. Willie O'Connor targeting Dennis Byrne's wing. Instead it runs on to Charlie Carter, playing it in towards DJ Carey. DJ rounding Barry Wheelahan. Nice steady action. And a lovely point.
And if you notice that Charlie Carter flicked that ball over his shoulder and tapped it in, I mean, that's pure mental telepathy and pure connection between two good clubmen who played so much together.
This is DJ Carey having taken the pass. Nice steady action, cool as you like, and wonderful direction. Pressure again on the Offaly goal. Here come Kilkenny once more, this time stopped by Kevin Martin. Johnny Dooley breaking it. Robbed. Up once again here by Aidan Cummins. And that's gone wide from Dennis Byrne.
That's a bad wide by Dennis Byrne. An All-Ireland final with a few minutes to go. We'd like to put that over the bar, obviously.
Gary Hanafy taking off. Again, there are players in support. Johnny Pilkington trying to go through the Kilkenny defence this time. Stopped by Eamon Kennedy. Very solid at centre half back. Well caught. It's Simon Wheelahan. Niall Claffey. Johnny Dooley. Number 18 is Aidan Cummins. Kilkenny, of course, have had many, many glory years, 10 wonderful years at minor level, where they produced so many winning teams. So there's a ready supply of young players coming on stream. Today we had a minor final between Offaly and Dublin. It was won by Offaly. Here's Brian McAvoy. Pilkington's after him. Hanrahan's after him. And in the end, beautiful work there by Aidan Hanrahan. But you have to recognise what Offaly have done over the last 20 years from a very, very small pick. They've been able to produce All-Ireland winning teams. They've been able to win Leinster, I think it's on 9 occasions so far, and 4 All-Irelands as well. That is really remarkable.
They're a fantastic county, and I mean, you know, they have made such a remarkable contribution to hurling. And I'm absolutely delighted to see them win today. They produced a lovely young centre back in Joe Brady in the minor match, and I think they'll be there for a while. Hopefully they will be.
So the big man Henry Shefflin makes way, and the young Garda recruit Eddie Brennan has come on.
This is an exciting player, Eddie Brennan. You're going to hear a lot of him in the next few years.
That's gone over the bar from DJ Carey.
I mean, the game is over. Kilkenny are giving their players a run at this stage.
Well, they can afford to do so. And people will wonder at the end of this particular afternoon, are they better than last year? Is the balance there? Certainly the hunger is there.
And also, Gerard, they're coming better this year in that they were on a high by this time last year and they went a bit flat before the Ireland final. And I'd say they're conscious of that, the people training them.
That sails in over the head of Philly Larkin. Back there to help out is Noel Hickey. Well, he's given nothing away. They race ahead once more. Gary Hanafy in towards Aidan Hanrahan. Several players there, just needed a little touch from somebody, but it was always going wide of the target.
Yeah, the inside and forward line is not getting that much supply. I don't think John Troy has even touched the ball yet, has he? I mean,
didn't see him.
Hasn't got into him. You know, it's inside forward line are finding it hard to get going in there.
If you look at the inside forward line that started today, Liam, Joe Erity taken off, no score. Michael Dygney got one, he's been taken off. Joe Dooley got a chance, took it, a goal 6 minutes into the second half. And John Ryan is just into the action. Here he is, number 24. And coming off, Johnny Pilkington.
Johnny Pilkington has struggled throughout the entire game. He hasn't been a big contributor like before.
You'd have to say that quite a number of the Offaly players, as the game wore on, struggled visibly. Stephen Grehan. It's a younger-looking Kilkenny team. It's telling its own tale. Out towards Stephen Grehan, that clearance from Simon Wheelahan. Kilkenny with the players, Kilkenny with the talent, Kilkenny with the scores, but this time they've got a wide, and it's 11 wides so far. The latest by Stephen Grehan.
We must recognise the older players in Kilkenny. John Power, you know, and Willie O'Connor have been fantastic as well.
Still, I'm quite sure they're delighted that they've been able to bring in young fellas, fresh faces, fresh legs. McAvoy just trying to get it back towards Eamon Kennedy. He was always going to be in a spot of bother there. Charlie Carter looks as fresh as ever. Stopped by Stephen Byrne. At this stage, they're just playing out the remaining 3 minutes. Simon Wheelahan. Nicely caught by Peter Barry. Here comes Niall Claffey once again. Got to be challenged. Got by that fairly quickly. So Kilkenny headed for the semi-finals. Cork will be there as well. The quarter-final draw coming up soon. Offaly look to be in the hat for that. DJ inside, stopped. John Horn was trying to come through that time, couldn't quite get the shot in. In the end, it's knocked away out of danger by David Franks. Well caught by Philly Larkin. He's had a much better second half. To Charlie Carter. Charlie just comes out around the 40, gives himself lots of room to get on the ball. Finally cleared away by Aidan Hanrahan.
John Power.
Aidan Hanrahan. Well, at this stage, I think we can safely say, as John Troy picks this one up, challenged by Willie O'Connor. Still they get it back, stopped by James McGarry, and it's gone over the bar.
Good stuff. You know,
Brendan Murphy will take the credit. It's his 4th point.
The one thing about Kilkenny that we see differently this year is that they seem to have a good blend of physical players, light players. Their balance seems a lot better in terms of that this year.
Well, this was where Murphy got that ball fed back to him and off the stick of James McGarry. Well, Kilkenny have created 45 scoring chances, a huge total in a match which still has over a minute to play. Offaly, by comparison, just 29. It tells its story. Dangerous pull by Niall Claffey, free in. So here we are with a minute to go, and it'll be Offaly who'll be in the hat very shortly for the quarter-finals, along with Galway, along with Tipperary, and along with the Ulster champions this afternoon, whether that is to be Derry or Antrim. Niall Claffey with the yellow card. DJ Carey about to take the free. Brian Cody will be thrilled with the second half display. They were competitive and combative when needed to be in the first half, but they really flew away for Offaly during the second 35 minutes. DJ Carey making sure that it goes well and truly over the bar. He's now scored a goal and 3 points. Kilkenny fans absolutely thrilled and delighted. The Cats back. They'll be one of the hot favourites now, along with Cork, I think, to take this year's Liam McCarthy Cup. They're still not finished, still anxious to go forward. Aidan Cummins sending that one in. Kinahan. Little block on that one. They still fancy their chances of another score or two. Charlie Carter, right on the corner, out over the end line. What about the man of the match today, Liam?
Well, I think on the man of the match you could go through quite a few Kilkenny players. Peter, Barry, you know, you could even consider Raymond Kennedy, a lot of players, but there's only one man. John Power is the man for me. I think he was absolutely wonderful today, and he changed the whole course of this game, and his dominance of Brian Whelan certainly brought the Leinster Championship back to Kilkenny this time, there's no question.
I think everybody will share that viewpoint. Well done to John Power. Stopped by Stephen Byrne. It's a little lapse of concentration, sun in his eyes at this stage, and Kilkenny are the Leinster champions once again. The team with 25 All-Ireland victories to their credit have won their 58th Leinster crown. The Bob O'Keefe Cup goes back. It's 3 in a row for Philly Larkin and his colleagues here. And each and every year they have taken the scalp of Offaly in the final. When they really got going, my goodness, they were magnificent. And this was DJ Carey leaving it there for Charlie Carter, and Charlie banging in Kilkenny's second goal after DJ himself had scored a most memorable goal after 28 minutes of the first half. Joe Dooley got the consolation for Offaly, but they were well behind, and now the quarter-finals beckon, because in the Guinness Leinster Hurling final, the full-time score at Croke Park this afternoon in front of 32,000 people shows that they've won by 221 to 113. An emphatic victory. Let's go down to Darren Maloney.